Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone. My name is Nurul Aisaz Bila binti Khalil and today I will present about problem segment of our research. Firstly, Dr. Zaliha, Minister of Health, mentioned in her statement on National Mental Health Celebration that there are about 400,000 children in Malaysia that suffer from mental health issues. There are also another study from Young 2023 and Rebikini 2021 about the relationship between mental health and psychological condition as well as music. Therefore, we are conducting this research to study the effect of psychological condition and music towards students' mental health. Next, I'm going to explain about the research question and research objective. So there are 3 research questions that we would like to find the answer from this research. First, we want to study what are the factors that influence student mental health. Next, how a student mental health affected by psychological condition. And the third one is, what is the impact of music on student mental health? The objective of this research is, first, we want to identify the factor that influence student mental health. Next, we want to examine the student mental health which caused by psychological condition, and lastly is to find out the impact of music on student mental health. So we hope that these objectives can answer on what the question of our research.
Greetings everyone. My name is Izlin Izzati and today I will covering about the literature review. The research addresses the global significance of students' mental health, highlighting conditions like depression, anxiety, and stress that impact daily functioning and have been linked to student deaths. Focusing on the vulnerable age group of 18 to 29, the study underscores the reciprocal relationship between academic performance and mental health, emphasizing the potential negative impact of poor academic achievement on students' well-being. The study centers around the dependent variable of mental health, recognizing its pervasive implications for students during their formative years, as highlighted by Hassan and others in 2022. The research explores psychological conditions related to the human mind and emotions, drawing on Kant's in 1990 and May and others in 2004 framework. 3 key conditions including meaningfulness, psychological safety, and psychological availability are outlined, involving positive outcomes from energy investment, expression freedom without fear, and possessing necessary resources for engagement respectively. Emotion is highlighted as a conscious mental response with psychological and behavioral changes. The study aims to correlate emotions with students' mental well-being, positioning psychological conditions as independent variables. Music, a universal language of art, communicates ideas through harmony and emotional expression, serving various purposes such as conveying messages and fostering communication. Beyond its cultural role, music influences biological factors through the release of hormones like dopamine and oxytocin, creating a positive feedback loop and enhancing its impact on individuals' emotions and well-being. The research particularly focusing on the often overlooked issue in Asian societies due to social stigma and shame. The cultural context adds a layer of isolation for individuals facing psychological challenges, impacting their cognitive abilities. Drawing on research conducted at the State University in Istanbul, by Errol and others in 2022. The study reveals a significant proportion of 41.9% of first-year university students at risk of mental health issues, with 39.4% experiencing symptoms of insomnia. Therefore, there is a relationship between psychological condition and students' mental health. Engaging in musical activities correlates with reduced stress, anxiety, and depression levels among students, with music majors experiencing lower stress than other undergraduates. Music therapy yields positive outcomes for mental health patients, and frequent musical engagement of at least 1 hour daily is associated with better self-reported health. Music facilitates emotional expression, enabling students to convey feelings, while diverse genres offer rhythmic experiences to alleviate stress. Research by Bateman in 2015 suggests music's impact on cognition, addressing cognitive impairment in mental health issues like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Schellenberg's study in 2011 highlights how music improves cognitive abilities, reinforcing its potential to help students cope with stress, depression, and anxiety. Therefore, there is a relationship between music and students' mental health. Research framework is provided next.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nuri Erna Sofia binti Roslan and I will be presenting about Chapter 3, Research Methodology. The research process incorporates various components of research design, population and sampling, measurement and organization of the questionnaire, and data collection. First, research design. The element of research design include the study purpose, the sort of investigation to be conducted, the level of intervention, the setting of the study, the time horizon, and the unit of analysis. The purpose of the research was to get a deeper understanding of the impact of music towards students' mental health at UiTM Kampus Bandaraya Melaka. The reason for this is because a lot of mental health problems are observed to arise throughout the time. Regarding the kind of investigation that was carried out, we employed clarification research to determine the goal. Besides, all the data have been collected from student UiTM Campus Bandaraya Melaka with the unit of analysis is the individual. The respondent will serve as the unit of analysis for this investigation. The temporal horizon for this research is cross-sectional and the survey was done using a Google form include 214 randomly selected students from semester 1 through semester 6 at UiTM Campus Bandaraya Melaka were at least 18 years old. Next is population and sampling. The respondents that participate in this research include all of the students of UiTM Bandaraya Melaka with 6 different courses within all the semesters. Next is measurement. We use a nominal scale for sample based on common characteristics such as gender, age, faculty, semester, current CGPA, and ask the respondent if they are a part-timer. Other than that, we also using an extremely popular method which is the Likert scale that developed by Francis Likert to measuring attitudes. And lastly, data collection procedure. An online survey administered using Google Form was used to gather data for this study. The surveys are compiled and the respondents, which are students from UiTM Campus Bandaraya Melaka, are given the link to the Google Form that they can easily access and respond to the questionnaire at that time.
The demographic profile of the respondents shows that the gender, the majority are female, 168, 78.5%. In terms of age, the majority of respondents are of the age between 21 years old to 23 years old, with a total number of 178, 83.2%. Majority of the respondents are from Faculty of Business Management, 192, 89.7%. As for the academic year, the highest number of respondents are from Part 5, which is 101, 47.2%. Furthermore, it is found that the majority above CGPA 3.5, which is 137.64%. The dependent variable, which is mental health, the mean is 3.14 and the standard deviation is 1.77. As for the independent variable in terms of psychological condition, it has mean of 3.51 and a standard deviation of 0.56. In terms of music, the mean is 4.02 and a standard deviation is of 0.83. The Cronbach alpha value for psychological condition of all 9 items obtained is 1.7666. The value of Cronbach alpha is more than 0.7, which means that the internal consistency reliability is ideal. The Cronbach alpha value for music of all 8 items obtained is 0.948. The value of Cronbach alpha is more than 0.7, which means that the internal consistency reliability is great. The Cronbach alpha's value for mental health of all 7 items obtained is 0.885. The value of Cronbach alpha is more than 0.7, which means that the internal consistency reliability is good. The R square is 0.316. This means that 31.6% of the variance in the independent variable can be explained by the 2 independent variables. The remaining 69.4% is not explained in this study. This indicates there are other independent variables which are not included in this study and could further strengthen the regression equation. For the standardized beta coefficient, when psychological condition increase by 1 standard deviation, mental health increase by 0.464 of a standard deviation. When a music increase by 1 standard deviation, increases by 0.191 of mental health standard deviation. So for the t-test, psychological condition is significant. Psychological condition has a positive relationship with mental health. Next, music is significant. Music has a positive relationship with mental health. The regression model produced a significant result with an F value of 48.833 and the associated p-value was found to be less than 0.05. This indicates that the model is statistically valid, suggesting that psychological condition and music collectively contribute significantly to explaining the variance in mental health among the respondents. Correlation analysis result for the psychological condition, music, and mental health. There is a moderate positive linear correlation, 0.534, or linear relationship between the psychological condition and mental health. The music has a moderate positive uphill correlation, 0.368, which is modest but linear with psychological condition. Besides, mental health has a 0.361 moderate relationship correlation with linear relationship, which is modest but average relationship with music. This shows of all 3 variable, the music independent variable influence mental health dependent variable.
Discussion will center on the research question. The research is known to have 3 research questions. Number 1, the factor that influence students' mental health, which is psychological condition and music are the main factor that influence students' mental health. There is a positive relationship between psychological condition and students' mental health, and a positive relationship between music and students' mental health. The coefficient in the correlation table, specifically the t-test, indicate that psychological condition and music towards mental health is significant to 0.00, which suggested that the significance is less than 0.05. Hence, music and psychological condition towards mental health are positively correlated because both hypotheses are supported by the coefficient. Number 2, students' mental health affected by the psychological condition. According to the data gathered, mental health improved by 0.464 of standard deviation for every standard deviation increase in psychological condition. Hence, there is a positive relationship of psychological condition to a student's mental health. Number 3, the impact of music towards students' mental health. On the other hand, mental health increases by 0.191 of a standard deviation when music increases by 1 standard deviation. Therefore, there is a positive relationship of music towards students' mental health. Next is limitation of study. Number 1 is limited type of respondent. The finding express the total number of students in Kampus Bandaraya Melaka is 2817 people. However, only 214 respondents out of total 2817 answering the questionnaire. The percentage of the response is not even close to 50%, indicating a limited sort of respondent. Number 2, inadequate collaboration among the respondents. When doing a research, not all respondents meet the research studies requirement. Some of it were hesitant and reluctant to answer the questionnaire. Insufficient amount of respondents can lead to methodology and resource limitation. Number 3, insufficient article of the study. A research project with insufficient article may suffer from a number of issues that affect the caliber and significance of the study. Having an insufficient research material will make the research look old-fashioned as it lacks of transparency. Next recommendation. Number 1 is improvement in such appropriate decision to include more independent variable. Through this research, there are only 2 independent variables that are visible. Based on the finding and discussion in Chapter 4, it is stated that there is 69.4 remaining that is not explained, where it could further strengthen the regression equation by adding other independent variables. Number 2, alternative approaches and improvised better title. The insufficiency of the materials affect the researcher in a lot of ways. When faced with material limitation, researcher might adopt alternative methodology, leading to recommendations that differ from their initial plan. Since there aren't many research journal or article to review on this issue, we would like to improvise a better title. In a nutshell, the discussion has been explained in details in regard to the continuance of the findings in Chapter 4, where both of the independence variables show a positive relationship with mental health. The research question for this research has been answered and delivered successfully in terms of the correlation between the hypothesis and the coefficient. Besides, the data was conducted using multiple linear regression analysis. There are a few limitations of the study that counteract when doing the research and the recommendation on how to improve.